Hey Kay, I had to raise stream because I couldn't get nobody to come in. Carol was the only one that was in. So I don't know what happened. I talked to Michelle. I decided to delete that. I fixed it, most of that channel. I got one more step to do. I gotta wait a couple of days. Now, see, now it moved. I have two likes. So I don't know. Something must have happened. Oh, okay, Carol, you got the notification. Okay. I played 30 minutes into that lady. I wanted to play the Australia lady came on yesterday. It's an hour and a half, and I played 30 minutes of it. So far I got an hour left. There's a lot of stuff. Cats came out with 18-minute one too, so I'm gonna probably have two shows today. Paul, that one channel is almost removed. I fixed a little bit of it this morning. I gotta wait a few more days. Hopefully it'll be removed. See now, Carol, now everybody's finding me now. Um, because we were on playing that lady from Australia. It's an hour and a half, everybody, and I played 30 minutes. But I don't know if you guys want me to go back and restart. But it was just starting to get good right now, so we got a whole hour. So I'm gonna continue. I'll be on again tonight. I went back to the 15-minute mark, so that's when they started to start everything. Oh, you got breakfast for everybody, Kay? And just a little one. So I don't know if you guys were listening or not, but I'm gonna replay it.
It is very hurtful. Yeah.
So let's just say that I was looking at the market and what's going on with silver, what's going on with Too Late Powell, in his little emergency meeting today. And they infused big bucks that they, quote, printed.
Mm.
So enjoy the movie because they're not allowed to print any more money. So
Yeah,
One,
so do I, Kay.
yeah, yeah.
it's an anomaly that we're seeing happening because by printing more money, they actually create a bigger problem. It pushes the interest rate, and the interest rate causes another imbalance. So, are you ready for a Black Monday?
Oh, sweet. I'm red, honey. I want it to go all red. Yeah, look, it's looking very, very interesting. I'm going to be watching that intently, and this is the whole reason of being in the States. And thank you to all those, as I said, who have supported me to get me here. This is the most pivotal time in the whole thing, is to actually be here when this all goes down. So understand, I'm going to be watching that very, very closely. And I'm thinking that, it's going to go red.
I was on with one of the biggest independent purchasing. And he said that overnight, China kicked in at $99 silver. Before the markets even opened today. Then
again, yeah, come on.
Then we saw another one adjusting their price during closing.
Yeah.
Rather interesting things going on that I've never seen in 30 years. So, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Well, let's just say this. Everything is going off the rails at one time, and everything is falling right in place. The non-gratis of the U.S. dollar, the adjustment in stored value items, gold and silver, all this comes in because people think you're talking about too many things at once. It's not one thing, as you always readily point out. What's going on in all these countries?
This one okay, Paul?
They're getting.
She's a good one.
Internet, right?
Very.
You said that
I'll
earlier.
be on twice today.
They're getting internet all over Iraq, fiber optics. They're getting communication and transactability wires, systems that weren't in place. And you have all week long, if people go back and look at your channel, you have documented the digitization of multiple countries. Have you not?
For a very long time.
I know. So this is exciting piece because I do have some information for you.
I knew you would.
That January 1 is going to be a glorious day, and New Year's Eve could even be a precursor to the glory.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So the USN, the USN, I know we've never talked about that before, but the USN is poised to be released. And I did get some information that the Treasury has lined up with the Constitutional Republic. And it's not in Washington, D.C.
That's correct.
It's in a state that starts with T.
Texas.
Just pick one.
Look out for Texas.
Just pick anyone that starts with T. Yeah, well, this is military, sweetheart. So military are in control. And it is very, very exciting. So I just want to take it back just half a step, though, before I lose my trail of excitement very quickly. When you were talking about the market coming up with $99 per ounce in China before it even opened, understand what's actually going on there as well. And this is that, as I said, we're running two systems parallel to each other. And that's why I said we've had many discussions also regarding about how I've said about how Vietnam, Iraq, Indonesia, Philippines, and many other countries are able to implement, including Iraq, have been able to implement what we call a readjustment to their currency in the other system, in their old system, so as that they can implement all of this new electricity, the fiber optics and things like that as well. These currency revaluations have been going on in the background, and that's why when you were talking about the $99 before it even opened, understand this mechanism that's about to come into place is that bridge that we've talked about. So the Fed now will take the bridge from the Federal Reserve into your US Treasury. So when you gave the news about the US Treasury, this is what we're waiting for, ladies and gentlemen, right at the beginning of the show, the Iraqi bridging to the mechanisms to allow the currency exchanges. When you understand why I was talking about many years ago regarding the actual bridges, utilizing that of the exchange system, the stock exchange. So they utilize that platform. So when I talk about the banks have changed and they are doing different performances, they perform differently because they're utilizing these bridges into different areas, just like JP Morgan are utilizing or taking control of the rental income. This will be linked to your taxes and things like that as well. Certain taxes will remain until such time as everything is fixed. Okay, so when the $99 per silver came up, before it even opened, understand these are the two parallels. We're just waiting for that mechanism to flip over. And that's why the exciting news out of Iraq with the CBI talking about to activate those mechanisms. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you've just heard it here from Colorado Mama. The Treasury are about to finalize that mechanism from the bridge over. So understand why we're seeing prices before they even open at 99, and what's going on is that bridge, and that's the system that I talk about when I talk about your currencies have already been adjusted in the background for the financial sector of those governance to restructure and strengthen to be able to pay for the implementation of your AIs, of your biometrics, of your new banking systems. These all things cost money. These platforms are utilized through the revaluations on the old system, and they will bridge it across to the new system. So happy days. So thank you, Colorado Mama. That story out of the Treasury is very, very exciting. You've only got to look at the media releases out of the US Treasury and you start to read and understand that this is very, very exciting times. This is Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Christmas is going to be extended through to the early parts of the first quarter. But understand this, it is.
So, Leah, what you're saying about that executive order, January 1st, both lady that was on there saying that the banks will be closing, I think, for 4 days. So we'll see how the first week goes.
It is Christmas Day the minute this happens, and this is still happening, ladies and gentlemen. Do not give up on any of this. Don't get emotional about the side effects of Christmas and things like that as well. It will be Christmas very, very soon with the implementation of what's coming down. So thank you, beautiful Colorado Mama. Oh, am I looking forward to catching up with you very, very soon.
And oh yeah, that's just the beginning.
So is there anything else you'd like to share?
Well, shall we talk about JP Morgan for a moment?
Oh yeah, let's do that. I'm excited about that.
With JP Morgan. So we know that, and we talked, I think we might have mentioned this before, but I have much more clarity now. JP Morgan moved their trading desk from New York very quietly without much fanfare to Singapore.
Yes.
Okay, what market runs over in Singapore?
The mass.
not the COMEX, but the
yes, yes. Go on. That's correct.
The Shanghai market. Okay,
that's
so
right.
on the COMEX, it closed at 79.57 according to my most accurate place, and it closed at 88 in Shanghai. I didn't know till today that China had their own number they picked. But anyways, so we have a bank who is the largest holder of silver of any banks in the world.
Yep.
And they still managed to screw it up by actually giving loans based on things they didn't have.
Yes.
And I think they ran into a little bit of a problem, and it was supposed to be silent that this happened, but I don't think so. And so they had to do a little bailout thing happened in the last 36 hours. It's not listed as that, but it's the largest
but that's
one
what
who
it is.
had the naughtiest behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And so they now purchase, and this is called arbitrage. And I know all of you are quite accomplished fiscally, but I'm going to reiterate this just in case someone learns something. When you buy something at 79.57 and you sell it at 88 on Sunday when the market opens, because everybody in America is asleep. In fact, we're on what they call the smoky week or the cloudy week or something like that, because most people take the week off because it's very low volume. It makes it very volatile. So they all take holiday. And they don't come back until after the 3rd. So what's going on this week is a real thin trading that can manipulate it easy. And they can do this arbitrage where they sell low, they buy low and sell high because they needed this to drop because they had huge shorts in this.
What do you guys think so far?
And so they're losing their shorts and they're having code browns. Okay. So now they made this call. They saw the writing on the wall, and this was their opportunity to try to correct some of the imbalance or to cost average their loss.
The cost averaging, yes.
Yes. And so this is what's going to take place. If we think when it opened up at 6 o'clock on the East Coast, a very dangerous hour, right after Too Late had his meeting 2 hours ahead of that, and our illustrious President Trump creating a great movie with Little Man Z and Putin on phones and all this other stuff, people are not really realizing what's going on here. But he did comment, by the way, in his little speech, if you caught it, on the White House site. He said to Zelensky, he says, "Oh, your generals, they all ate really well over there. In fact, they look like central casting." And so it's just, I mean, wait till, if you think it was good tonight, stay up late tonight. This would be like an all-nighter kind of thing. You can watch this thing explode right before your eyes by tomorrow morning and by Tuesday.
Absolutely. And that's what I said, Colorado Mama. I think I'm going to have to do another one tomorrow because I'm expecting that's why I said just before, honey, I'm expecting something. I can feel it brewing. It was so quiet Christmas Eve. It was like the calm before the storm. It was like, what are they up to? Whenever it goes quiet for more than 24 hours, I go, what are they up to? But I think you're right. As I said at the beginning of the show, I think I might have to come on a couple more times this week to keep you up to speed, get your excitement level back up after the whole Christmas downfall, and to remain very, very cautious about what is going on. The markets will, like I said, with the two implementations of two blockchains, will the market crash? Yes, but I do not think it's going to be anything to be concerned about. This is that adjustment of the price of silver. Silver is your gold, ladies and gentlemen. Gold is the silver lining. watch that space. Interesting how it came up 88, and of course, as you said, every country has its own numbers. 9 is completion. I pointed that out in one of the posts the other day. So 88 miles per hour, I think we've been waiting for the 88 for quite some time. Is this where this starts to skyrocket? Add an extra couple of zeros to that, move the decimal point 2 places, ladies and gentlemen, because I think that's where it's going to be by the end of the first quarter. Not financial advice, certainly something to consider.
Dang it. Okay. Chris, I reported that stuff to the police yesterday, and I worked on something last night, this morning, and I got the one part off. We will be removing that channel, so it wasn't me. I already talked with Michelle and Kay. Hey, Mike. Oh, damn. Oh, shoot. I screwed everything up now. Darn it.
Sunday night,
and by Tuesday.
that's stabilized it, and that's basically the basic algorithms of what we're going to see. If we were to have everything goes red in the markets and you have what they call the Black Monday, I think it's going to go through from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday into Thursday. That, of course, being New Year's Day. So this is your 3 days of darkness. Okay, we've been waiting for this for some time. And if it doesn't occur on this particular Monday, which I believe it's a high probability, we have a lot of economists out there. There's been a couple of articles. I actually saved one. I didn't post it because I want to go through and analyze it myself. But there's been 2 or 3 articles that I've saw today regarding it's actually going to be a very soft and subtle market crash. So we're going to digest that, Colorado Mama. If you're available tomorrow, if I come back tomorrow, I'm going to give my perspective on that market crash because, as I said, this is 2 parallels, ladies and gentlemen, coming together through a bridge called blockchain, and we're going to see how that utilizes the 3 days of darkness. So the 3 days of darkness is not what we actually thought it was going to be for many, many years. This will be the 3 days of darkness, I think, in the financial sector, of that being, of course, the so-called market crash. There is still a lot of fearmongers out there that say, take your money out of the banks. What money? Fiat is not money anyway. That's another story for another day. Different perspectives, but understand this, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be one humdinger of a week. And I believe you're right, Miss Mama. I think it's going to be a very busy night tonight. So I'm looking forward to what's going to happen and transpire because Sunday nights are always one of my busiest nights of the week. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. So, but Franny, would you like to say hello? You've already been unmuted. So Franny, you're welcome to pop up and say a quick hello, and we'll come back to Colorado Mama in a minute. So, Franny, just unmute yourself, darling. Archer, 1111. I love the 1111. So, Franny, are you available to speak, or Archer? And there's Charlie R as well. I will unmute you, and that gives us a few different people to chat for a little while longer. We've got half an hour, ladies and gentlemen.
think Franny's first.
So, there you go. Archer 1111. I tell you what, one of my favorite numbers. How are you, sweet?
Doing great. You're over in the States right now?
I am.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Finally made it. Oh my gosh, it's been a long journey to get here. Let me tell you.
I bet. We love our Aussie friends. Yes, we do. I can't wait to go to Australia. It's my number one first destination.
Is it really?
Yeah. Actually,
definitely,
it is.
Definitely consider New Zealand as well, Archer 1111.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is a beautiful, beautiful place. So hello to everyone, of course, from New Zealand. I have quite a good following in New Zealand. They are most wonderful people in the world. So, but yeah.
Absolutely.
So what have you got? What would you like to chat about, my doll?
Well, I'm just been racking my brain trying to figure out, what is this going to look like this week? Are we going to have payment system disruptions, or is that going to come after? I've seen several gurus, map out how these 10 days are going to play out and things like that. And it's like, they're probably none of them are right? And Trump always promised, a smooth transition, right? And I was just curious if we think, the ATM machines aren't going to work by, Monday. I don't see all that. I really don't. I was seeing that it was going to, the market and everything was going to shake up this week, right? And we'll finally see in the headline news and the mainstream news, because I have scoured. There's just nothing out there, at least there wasn't yesterday, about, silver about to crash a whole bunch of banks, right? It's like they're just acting like this does not exist. This is not happening, and we're not letting the cat out of the bag. So I figured, maybe by the end of the week, the cat would be out of the bag. They would be forced to report it. And then, then we may have like next Monday would be the Black Monday. Because once it hit mainstream, then that's when the panic's going to start. And all the markets are going to, they're going to take a hit. They're going to take a crypto. The crypto is going to take a hit.
Right now,
I've been telling people, I help them with their wallets and do classes and stuff for people, digital assets. And I said, just hold on tight. Don't look. It's going to go down. And you're going to be like, just don't look.
Yeah.
Just don't look. Just hold the line. And things are just going to be beautiful. Just when we get on the other side of that rainbow to that pot of gold, right?
and I agree with you. As I said, if it's not this Monday, it's definitely coming. There is a lot of indicators. Do we have to have them? Do we have to have that mechanism in place first before they completely crash it? Possibly. But as I said, either way, J6. Why is the J6 coming back up again? You notice how it's been creeping up in the news again.
Yep, it has.
And that wasn't just a flag, but it is also a flag to identify,
That's interesting about
there's
that.
something going on here.
January 6th. We have a corrupt judicial system.
Who doesn't?
And I definitely know that's why Bongino quit. Bongino quit because he realized I can't really do anything with this. I can't do
nothing no more. But he benefited from that, didn't he? He made a lot of money out of that show. Well, half his luck. He was under a lot of pressure and things like that as well. And it's like everything, we're digital soldiers. We just go on the bones of our backsides more or less. And,
right now,
but like I said, do these mechanisms have to be in place before they actually crash it? Like I said, I'm still very, very excited, and I stay optimistic all the time because there is a lot of things that can occur as things alter and change. And I love change. I think I embrace it a lot more than what most people do. We saw many things over the course of the week, and people are really struggling emotionally trying to get through.
That's
because,
Mike.
again, like I said, I don't even get benefits while I'm
Yeah, Mike's saying June calendar Christmas is January 7th. So that could be. Are you guys okay with this long one, or you guys want me to? I got two good Nick videos that came out, and then Cash has an 18-minute one. We still got 50 minutes. I don't know what you guys want to do. Continue with this one or go on to other videos? Okay, 75. Two shows today. Continue this one, Ann. I thought everybody would like to hear all this, because this is a big. She's always good.
It's while I'm out of Australia. I don't get social security benefits.
Oh
so
my gosh! Wow.
no, I don't get any benefits.
Even
So
if you're
that's
on
why
vacation?
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Missouri.
It doesn't matter.
Really?
I call you
Yeah,
Missouri.
yeah. That's why I had
How's
to
it
do.
going? Is
That's
this your
why I
first
had to
time
do
in
buy me
chat?
a coffee, girlfriend, because
Thanks
I
for
have no
coming
way of
in. This is
surviving.
respectful.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
This
crazy.
is like, yeah, that's crazy. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
you know,
How do
you
they know
leave
you
Australia and yeah, you don't get benefits.
I mean, you could
So
be gone for 2 weeks and back. They're not going to notice, or you have to tell them when you leave.
no, mate. The minute I walked out, the minute I got on the latest plane I could on the Wednesday after I got paid, my final pay came through, and they send you an email to say this is the adjustment whilst you're away, and that's it. That was my half week adjustment, and that's it. And that's it. And I don't get paid again. It doesn't get reinstated until I go back. So
the government is all up in your business, isn't it? I would think you could probably leave for a few weeks and come back, and they wouldn't know.
More than you know, more than you realize. It's just, it is. Oh, and it's like, you know, so I work on the bones of my backside. I work extremely hard. But yeah, they don't support you. They don't support me at all. Yeah, I appreciate.
Got it.
I said to the crew that I'm with at the moment, I said, you know what, I love doing what I do, as hard as what it is some days, as hard as what it is. I still love this because it's people and it's moments like these where I get to just talk normally to people.
Right.
And that's where we're at, is that you've got to be with the people. This is for the people, by the people, and where we go one, we go all. And that's always stuck with me. It's always stuck with me. So again, like I said, don't get caught up in the emotions. As I said, Christmas will be Christmas when it happens. There's another brick in the wall as we get through this, and I'm still very excited. I'm probably more excited this time than I was last year. Last year we always had that expectations, but to hear that news coming out of Iraq, the mechanism is about to be engaged in their exchange centres and that. Oh boy, I got goosebumps. It's like having an orgasm without having an orgasm. Can I say that? No. But anyway, it is exciting. It just gives me so much thrill. I mean, this is just the most amazing time to be alive. It really, truly is. And I'm looking forward to the next coming weeks.
So 48 minutes. 48 minutes.
Thank you, honey.
You bring the receipt.
Well, it's like Colorado Mama and I say, you know, I substantiate as much as I possibly can.
Exactly.
You can see it in the news. We do a lot of news that a lot of people don't have, and I noticed that a lot of people use this news to help themselves as well, and I'm okay with that. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, but yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you again, Mel. Welcome.
My pleasure, sweetheart. Thank you, and it is great to be here. Let me tell you, Liza. Charlie R. Let's have a hello to Charlie R.
Hi, Mel.
Hello, beautiful.
Hi.
What a sweetheart.
Hey.
Thank you.
Everything's good.
I really don't have a question. I just wanted to welcome you to the U.S. and express my gratitude for all you share with us. Especially appreciate so much that you educate us on world economic news. These are everything that you post on your platform. I don't read or hear about it anywhere else. And so I really look forward to your postings. Really, I do. And I do want to just say God bless you for all you do for humanity. And I also want to just say, may all your hopes and dreams take flight in the coming year. Here's to 2026.
Amen to that, my beautiful sister. Oh, it is absolutely looking forward to 2026. And it's like I said, we look at Kim Clement's prophecies and things like that as well, and it is just an incredible time to be alive. It really, truly is. And if we can't dream, I know, if we can't dream, then what's the point? And
right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing many different shows. I've got a few seminars that I'd like to do. I do a seminar just on my interpretation of the book of Revelations and the book of John and things like that as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing another side of me, because we see this craziness of all about the GCR and everything else, but there's also this other side of, like I said, of, how we came here in this sense, and how we're going to go through, and how we always knew this was biblical. So how we bring this all together, of course, is, as I said, a different perspective. And I was talking to my Wisconsin group actually just recently about my revelations on revelations, so to speak, and how I've done so much research and study in the Mirror Bible and different Bibles and different biblical transactions and things like that as well. And I had the most beautiful experience, Charlie R., the most beautiful experience. Went to the beautiful town of the Vortexes in Sedona, and wowsy. Now, there's some beautiful places, but the energies from this, and there's a beautiful church building up on the top of the bells, and it's just incredible. We'll talk a lot more about that stories. The energies, I could feel the frequencies from my little finger go all the way through my body, and the downloads from my higher self were just amazing. It's just an incredible experience, and words cannot describe the feelings that I had when I was in Sedona. So I understand why Ishmael is there as well. It is an incredible, most powerful place.
So you do recommend it?
Absolutely recommend it. It's becoming very busy. We went up in the middle of the week and on a Wednesday, and it was like it was already getting crowded. So a lot of people are starting, because there's vortexes there, and we talk about ley lines, and we'll talk about all sorts of different things moving forward. So as I said, I've got about 4 or 5 different seminars that I'm going to be doing very soon. Once I get my technology stuff sorted, I'm going to be doing all of these on YouTube. So so we'll have some fun. We'll have a different perspective on many different areas, not just on PCR. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm in for the ride. Let us know. Keep us posted.
Absolutely.
I've been wanting to go to Sedona. Amazingly, I lived in Arizona for 3 years just recently. And to be honest, I've always been kind of scared to go there because of the vortexes, and I don't know why.
No, don't be scared. Okay. I mean, it's scarily exciting, if anything, because it certainly does. Don't let fear stop you from doing it. If there's a fear, there's a trigger, and that means you have to go and face that trigger. And it is a very amazing place. It's actually, as I said, it's like the Grand Canyon and many different things. We look at the Paris, in Paris, the Eiffel Tower. That's actually Tatarian energy. It's not satanic at all. There's satanic things that happened underneath and all that sort of stuff, but it itself is actually a very high energy type thing, and that's why they don't.
Oh, okay. Now that you said it, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, it was the satanic energy that I was
that's right, yeah. But you push through that. So this is how this is what I talk about in the new shows, right? It's about your frequency. So if you can overcome those frequencies and build your frequencies higher, then all of that. And this is what this is about. It's not just about the Great Awakening and the global currency reset. This is about us taking the power back. And how do you destroy the enemy? You become powerful. Right. So don't stay weak in that fear. Overcome that fear. Step up, and then that eliminates, that wipes out all that satanic.
Okay, thank you.
It's an interesting dynamics because I talk about Halloween and all sorts of other different things as well, and how we turn things around. So use your energy and your frequency to override that. But it's the same with the Grand Canyon as well. There's a lot of really positive energies there as well. So
wow. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I missed out on a lot while I was there then.
Again, it's just a different perspective. I mean, no one knows the answers fully, but that's what we have to look forward to past the once silver cracks this $99 and cracks 100. I think we're going to see a little bit more high energy because silver and gold give off energies as well, don't they?
Right, they do. Oh, you know what? You know, we're always speaking about silver and gold. I am of Indonesian descent. You know, the country right above you, Australia.
Yeah. Beautiful country of Indonesia. I know it well.
Yeah, and so now I do have a question. So that would be, what do you feel about copper?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's going to pop off?
Yes, it is. Copper is linked to a very special network called XDC network here as well. And they are linking all of these to copper. So copper is used, of course, in gardens, frequencies. I've actually been posting. If you just type up in the search engine in the channel and type in copper, there will be a heap of articles that come up on copper. I have been posting quite a bit about copper. Not financial advice, but copper is going to be one of those ones moving forward. I think it's one of the most underrated metals that there is at the moment, other than silver, of course. So I think, you've already got silver and you're looking for something else because silver is going to go through the roof. Not financial advice, but you could certainly consider some copper.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time, Mel. I appreciate you so much.
My pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I think I said, I think I released Salvage Sky. I think it's Savannah Sky. If she's available, come up and say hello, darling. I saw Agent 99, but she's disappeared. Jedi Law. Oh, that's even Jedi Law. There we go. And Jedi Law. I think it was Savannah Sky, I think it was. But yeah, the other one I just released, of course, as I said, hello, come and pop up. I think, like I said, Lovely, you're back as well.
Agent just came back. I just wanted to say something.
Good. Yeah, go for it, girlfriend.
If you become the light, dark cannot even touch you.
Yeah, amen to that.
A long time ago. And you're at a different frequency. None of these kind of dark energy just can't even mess with you. Period. End of story.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Archer 1111. I mean, that's exactly right. So, but anyway, Lovely, how are you? What's your question, honey? Quickly before you drop out.
Not a question. Yeah. Just to let you know that I've sent you something via the DM in case I get cut out again. Hello to everyone, and I'm so glad you're in America and that you're hopefully letting your hair down and you're having fun because you deserve it.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you know my journey more than anyone, and it's been a real struggle to get here, let me tell you.
She's real, guys. She's real, and she's an
real.
angel. She's a real life angel. She's tall as hell too.
Oh, I keep telling people I'm a gentle giant. It's quite amazing. I remember when we
Gentle
first
giant.
and
Yeah.
we had a lovely, lovely day, and yeah, how special it is. And as I said, I'm here to meet as many Americans as I possibly can as well. So I'm looking forward to the new year, where I get to come out and yeah, to actually meet and greet and just hug people. And you know, this is a time of hope and joy and happiness. And you know me, girlfriend, it doesn't matter how tough things were at that particular time. Yeah, people like yourselves and everyone watching the show right now have saved me so many times, and so I'm forever grateful. And
hey, Melly, and what's our favorite F word?
Fundamentals.
Fundamentals.
we have this saying between us two. It's wonderful, you know, because I have a Wisconsin group and I have a special word with them as well. But yes, my favorite F word, ladies and gentlemen, is fundamentals. And as I always say, if you focus on the fundamentals, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get through this and have a great time, because there is plenty of fundamentals right now. We are looking exceptional, boy. The excitement is definitely brewing. So I think timing is everything as well. As I said, to be in the States, to be able to have the opportunity to see this bridge come together. That's why we focus on bridges a lot too. I think we focused so much on, you know, the San Francisco Bridge and all of these things that we like, you know, we were talking about before. We are way above that. We are way above that. And I'm looking forward to the bridges out there in the outer federations, in the galactic federations and things like that as well. And the bridges that they have up there, that's what I'm looking forward to. I think it's going to be an amazing, amazing time. So, but yeah, you take care of yourself, sweetheart.
You too.
And,
you too.
Thank you for popping up. So we're going to say a quick hello. No worries, my darling. Thank you. We're going to say a quick hello to, it looks like a Canadian, Jedi Law AB, a humanitarian and warrior. Bring yourself up, darling, and say hello.
Hi, Mel. How are you?
I'm very well, and hello to the beautiful Canada. I love you, love you, love you. So what's brewing over
there? Reciprocated right back at you. So
thank you, darling. Yeah, what's happening over your way?
Welcome to the U.S. I wish I could join you down there. It sounds amazing. Are you in Arizona for a bit?
Actually not in Arizona now, but I can tell you now. I'm all over the place. I'm going to be all over the place. So
I hope you're planning to meet President Trump.
Well, that could be on the cards, couldn't it? If I go down to, I don't know, Mar-a-Lago, perhaps, if you know, down to Florida.
That'd be awesome.
Yes, you just never know your luck, don't you?
Right?
It is quite amazing.
I wanted to ask you, obviously, silver is going crazy right now. And I saw your post in the chat with regards to silver and the XRP. Do you think they're going to run parallel?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you think that you see that in the next year, or do you think that's a 5-year kind of window?
I think the 5-year window is about to close around about March, April. In the first quarter, I think you're going to see a really big connection there. As I said, I think from what we've just been talking about with the beautiful Archer 1111, it's kind of like I'm waiting for this mechanism to be implemented and then they can flip the switch. Right. And I think the same thing's going to happen. Remember that we're actually running on the XRP ledger, which is your biz. And we're going to be talking, like I said, probably not every day this week, but for a couple of times this week, I'm going to come on just to give you some really good fundamental stuff that I've been putting together. So as that you can actually see the link from XRP and the gold, as well as your XLM and your silver, as well as XInFin and your copper, and how they all and how they actually do link together, because you get told these things and you go, oh, yeah, how's that possible? And again, it's the lack of knowledge that we all have, and how they coincide with those metals, and how do they, you know, price index the XRP if it's linked to gold as well as XLM and X and Fin. So we'll go through those.
Like for me, I'm just curious with the XRP, because it seems like there's, you know, you hear a lot about these whales cashing in, right, that have held XRP for a long, long time, which in my thought process drains liquidity, right? And yet you get people coming back in buying, and it's like, so where's the liquidity? And
we'll listen to Trump speak here shortly. Hopefully we can finish this up. We got 30-something minutes.
Will there be liquidity when we want to actually pull this money out, right? And so it just, you know, I've been sitting on it, but it's just like, it's hard to know what is the truth and what is being manipulated.
So remember I talked about they utilize the stock exchange and those markets and those bridges in the blockchain.
Okay.
So this is the trading platforms. And in Australia, when they converted over from the Reserve Bank, the Central Bank of Australia, into our Australian Treasury, they utilised the payment platform of stocks and trades and crypto. Okay. So what you're hearing and seeing is exactly that, is that because we've got, this is why I said, remember I said about the articles that I've just pulled down, I'm going to go through and digest them, because I'm starting to see Wall Street traders are getting very, very nervous.
You on your lunch break?
Because they're starting to lose traction. So they're going to the crypto, buying out the XRP, and then
we're almost done with this.
Buying them out at the highs, selling them and buying them back at the lows.
Right.
So they're doing this whole trading thing. Eventually, what should happen, and as I said, when people understand the difference between the native token and the XRP ledger, the ledger is the system that banking system that we're running on.
Okay.
So what happens in this 3-day crash is going to be very, very important moving forward, because this takes the power away from the traders and Wall Street. So it's not just the crash or resetting of the currencies, it's how they're going to peg it. So if we're talking about the central bank hoarding gold, silver, copper, and other precious metals, they're linking it through that bridge to their native token.
Okay.
But remember I said there's two parallels here. So at the moment, they're having a great time buying and selling the native token, hence why it's still so suppressed and cheap.
Right.
In hindsight, compared to, because if it was linked already to the gold and silver, it would be skyrocketing with the price of gold and silver. Is that correct?
Right.
So that's what you're toying with. Yeah, so that's what you're toying with. So at the moment, you've got those two parallels. You've got the ledger, which is the bridge that's functioning from that as we are operating right now. So every time you tap and go, you're using that bridge of the XRP ledger. Okay. It's a ledger. It's a banking ledger. You know, like when we used to do ledgers in school, and assets and liabilities have to balance. Yeah, everything has to balance.
Yeah.
At the moment, what they're doing is that what you're seeing is in the crypto market, yes, these whales are utilizing this transition period of utilizing that as a stock market, and they're buying and selling on highs and lows and things like that as well. So how does that functionality move forward if it was then linked into this new system? So that's why this 3-day Black Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, whether it's this week or the following weeks, is going to be interesting, because it is taking the power away from Wall Street. So Wall Street have come out. They've got 2 or 3 different articles that popped out today. They're getting very, very nervous going into the new year about what's going to happen if there is going to be this Black Monday event that they're all thinking is possibly going to happen. So what happens is during this time as well, you've got these inside traders that used to pile all of these trades together on the stock market, and they benefit from that. Not you and I. They benefit from it.
Sure.
So what happens there is that takes the power away of them bundling all of these stocks and things like that as well. So at the moment, they're utilising the crypto market as another form of investments. So when they talk about these whales, you know, buying and selling and things like that as well, that's still that transition of that stock market, utilising the stock platform, the chess platform, we call it in Australia, which is your payment system in the stock market. So, so again, as things roll out, those, and what a beautiful way to that's a really good question to ask, because this is these fundamentals. So you're not crazy completely. And if it doesn't,
that's questionable.
If it doesn't make sense, and this is why I love those kind of questions in Q&As, because it takes it outside of like, please explain this, Mel, because there's a difference between the actual ledger that you're running on, as your banks are running on right now. It's called the XRP ledger, because they have to balance their books, don't they? But the actual token is not linked until such time as that mechanism that we're talking about earlier in the show has been fully implemented. So like I said, does that happen this week? If it doesn't, I'm definitely not disappointed at all. But if it does happen, you're going to see me nearly every day this week, girlfriend.
Awesome. So just on another note then, so in the crash, if they bring down the stock market, what happens to people's retirement savings? Like, because there is no option to pull those monies out without a massive tax hit to that, right? Without losing pretty much, you know, depending on how much is invested, but let's just say it's a considerable amount of money and you lose 50% of that. Like, is there something in the plan that you might be aware of where people are actually not going to lose everything they've worked, 40, 50 years for?
Look, there's been mechanisms put in place where everything has been mirrored. Now, again, there's no guarantees on that, is there? Because people tell us that people just come out with these things and say, oh, everything's mirrored.
Right.
And I go, that's a dangerous game to play. Show me the mechanism that says that. Show me the mechanism to show that.
That's what, I mean, because that's just hearsay. So is everything been backed out onto the blockchain with regards to the long-term investments for people that have, that are in retirement or going into retirement or have just been planning for it, I've never been able to find an absolute answer on that, like to a yes or no. Like, you just run with faith, and for me, I've run on faith for a long time, right? But it isn't without moments of absolute oh my God, is this possible? And yes, we would all be in the same boat is kind of my reassuring moment, right? Which, misery loves company. Isn't that just the worst? But at the same time, it's like my hope is that, operating in faith, that we're all cared for, and we all come together in that. But at the same time, it's like, if we're going to move forward and everybody's wealth is taken away, how do we do that, and is that true, or is that just fear porn out there?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that I can actually verify with all of that. Okay.
Right.
So in 2019 or 2020, geez, it's been a while since I've read my notes on that. Okay. In 2019, 2020, I'm going to utilize this because even though it's in Australia, as I said, there's always examples in every country. So every time I go in, I find stuff, very similar activities are going on. We have an Australian taxation office. So in America, they have the IRS. So whatever is equivalent in your country, there's been implementing changes, and there's a lot of changes about to occur in the IRS. Okay. Now, my understanding since I've been here is that even in each state, so you've got the IRS, which is your federal tax system,
Right.
but each state also has other tax.
That's correct. Yeah.
Implementations, which is painful because that means there's 50 other states that I have to.
Yeah, I file for my employer. I file for IRS as well as Arizona, as well as Delaware.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So there's all these different elements to it. In Australia, what I did find, so there's a couple of things that we need to look into a little bit further in the coming week. But in Australia, we had the J5. So what is the J5? They are Joint Chief of Staff.
21 minutes.
The Five Eyes. Interesting, isn't it? And they've been playing around, so to speak, in our Australian Taxation Office.
Okay.
They've been playing around in there. Ooh, what are they up to?
What are they up
to? They basically took control of that platform. Do you see my point? It's, again, when you understand the fundamentals of or acknowledge that there is something going on in the background, because our tariffs, or you call them tariffs here, we have royalties over in Australia, which are our tariffs, so to speak. Well, our tariff over in Australia was implemented on the 22nd of February 2022 because the J5 has been in there and basically took control of it. So think of it, Space Force has come in and has taken control of our Australian Taxation Office, basically. All right? Now, they took control of all of that. Now, in the meantime, we have this seal. So in America, you focus, of course, on your Constitution, 1870, whatever it is, 1871. We have a seal in Australia called 1933 seal.
Okay.
A seal of Constitution, so to speak. And that's been implemented in the background through other formats in the Australian government, so to speak. But people were saying, oh, we need to go back to the 1933 seal, which is our constitution, our true constitution in Australia. Well, that seal has been found. I found it several years ago, but under another banner underneath the umbrella of that being the Australian Taxation Office. So I'm pretty sure if it happened there, it's happened in other countries. It's very difficult to find. They don't want you to find it.
Yeah.
Hence why I got attacked, because I got down too far in that rabbit hole. And they wanted to know, how did I find that out? And it's like, well, I just looked and I found it.
Yeah.
So there's many, many elements to what you're asking, because is it real? Yes, there's going to be changes that are going to be implemented, and I think they are in that parallel blockchain again, in that system. And once it's implemented, the royalties, as I said, it's just one or two lines in the new updates. In the Australian Taxation Office, out of the 2,638 changes or whatever it was, there was two little lines in there that were added about royalties, which are our tariffs.
Wow.
Yes, that go back to the people.
And well, that's good news.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of good news. There's always good news when it's Mel. I can tell you, girlfriend, there is a lot of good news. It's just finding it.
Love your ability to dig. Like, it's just so refreshing. It's like, all right, if it's going on in Australia, it's definitely going on in Canada. And I get on that Canadian site, and I know there's things happening with Revenue Canada here. I see the changes just in the systems, right? And I'm on those systems quite a bit. But you know, that's from a business perspective and just doing filings and like things like that, right? Just through my work. But I know there's a lot happening in that, but to go in and dig and just actually try to find like just the you know, nuts and bolts of what's happening is so difficult, especially when you're not familiar with what was, right? So I just try to find documents that are newer dated but it's challenging. Yeah.
It is. Mate, honey, I went back to 2012 in Australian Taxation Office.
Wow. Wow. Good for you.
Oh, honey, single girl's got nothing to do, so that's what she used to do on a night off. Instead of drinking, I decided to go in the Australian Taxation Office. But what had happened was also, too, another bit of side note to all of that is that we were talking about the safety and security, of course, of what happens in the stock market, okay? Right. So there's a couple of things that could possibly happen. Mm-hmm. So during that time, there was a fund that was created, and it's called the Commonwealth Fund in 2012. So under this 1933 seal, there was actually also a fund that was created. Now, understand this. This was when the implementation of Ripple blockchain, the XRP ledger was being merged without us even knowing it. Yeah. So in 2012, when I found that little baby, so all of these funds that they had been filtering through were actually taken off the system. This is why I say, when I say it's mirrored, I have to substantiate that mirror, don't I? Right. So there were certain funds that were placed in this Commonwealth Fund of 2012. Now, my understanding is that that fund is like the Doge, so to speak, where it's been sitting there and earning a little bit of interest. Not a lot of interest, but I believe it's been sitting there. Okay. The other side to that is that we have to look at if the stock market was to, and people lost everything. They lost, because a lot of people still today put all of their eggs into that basket, don't they? And it's like, it scares me. It scares me, I mean. But people will still do what they want to do. And that's why we looked at things like hedging against the stock market with silver or gold and having a look at other aspects, so to speak, right? Yeah. Now, what happens if it does crash and they do lose it all? Is it mirrored, as I said, since the 2012 Commonwealth Fund? Or does this come into play, the universal income? Yeah. Does that save those who have not been awoken to the possibility of, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak? Right. There's no real defining answer. Okay. Does it concern me, honey? Yes, it does. But you know what? We all make choices, don't we? Yeah. We all make choices and decisions. So whatever choices they made and they were deemed to lose the lot, does it break my heart? Yes, it does. Yes, it does, because I've had everything stolen from me too.
Yeah, I know your story is horrific.
You know, and it's like, hello, you know. So I was one of those people that struggled with AI and the whole government ID system. Well, I had to find a way of securing myself. So I did that and did that investigation, which is another story. But my point being is that whatever happens, it is going to be a smooth transition. I think it is mirrored due to the 2012 Commonwealth Fund and the fact that the J5 have implemented the royalties in Australia, which is your tariffs here in the States. Yeah. So I think, you know, that was comfort, because we looked at, you know, when the Doge thing happened in America, a lot of Australians were going, is there one in Australia? And I said, yes, there is. Right. In fact, you've had yours implemented since 2012. I can substantiate that. And we saw that, I mean, was the US debt clock, be it as it may, it sounds a bit like a scam now because they're selling shit on that site now. But anyway, that's okay, whatever. But it is still there for us to say, this is what's going on. It was an observation of like a trigger for us to look into it. Yeah. So I think either way, however this goes, I always say, and part of the humanitarian side was look after yourself, number one. Right. Look after your family next, and then worry about all the rest of it. Because as I said, it's 1% of the 1% that are going to survive this. That's the statistics. That's the hardcore of it all.
I diversified because there's a part of myself and my partner's income that we really have no control over. It is in the company pensions that we can't touch until we retire. And so like it is like there's just no ability to pull until you actually retire.
Well,
and then but then I was just like, well, if this does all go down, I need diversification. And so over the last 5 years have done that. But it's just, you know, I look at people around me, and and part of me is like, I work for a family that is incredibly invested in the whole stock market and are totally closed-minded to my conspiracy thinking. And so it like a part of me is afraid to even be around when this goes down, if this goes down. And so because to watch, you know, a fourth generation of wealth family literally
Hey guys, we're at 10 minutes.
Is a little scary.
I'll play 2.
It certainly is. And something I just thought of whilst you were talking, because I forget how I research sometimes, but I just remembered something that you just brought up about retirement. Go in and have a look for me in the any updates in your pension funds and things like that as well, because that can also send you to links to other areas. Because all of our superannuation, which I talked about earlier about in the banking platforms, one of those is superannuation or retirement funds. And it looks like a lot of the changes in Australia, and I'm sure it's going to be everywhere, is where you actually take control of that retirement fund.
Yeah, well, we're going to pull, we're in the new year here. My partner is retiring. And so we're going to pull all the money from there. But then you're still stuck. Like the government in Canada has you over a frickin' barrel. Because you're literally, if you pull that money and you don't keep it in a registered fund, you will be taxed like through the nose. Well, even worse than the nose.
But again, I'm curious to see what happens though after the 2nd of January, because I think you're going to see changes. So if you looked in to 2026 changes, have a look at those.
Okay.
And keep me informed. Keep me informed on.
Do some digging on that, because I'm just like,
do some
it's
digging.
nerve-wracking.
It is.
Government. It's just they just got you over the barrel. It's like.
But a part of Jasara is, honey, too, is that you will get those taxes back.
That would be good.
Okay.
40-something years of paying that. It's like, God.
I know. So it is a nerve-wracking, especially when you are coming of age. I think our age in Australia is 55. So that's why I said there's a lot of little things happening in the background. So that's going to be very, very interesting moving forward. But definitely have a look at, go outside of that, as I said, and have a look at pension funds, different changes to to your retirement fund and things like that as well. Because my thing is, I think DJT definitely made a thing about the 401ks in the States.
In the States,
and, and
I just don't know about Canada and Carney, you know, like
Australia's no different, love fucking
I know you guys are over the barrel too, that freaking dominion of the UK.
And then you've got but I feel I mean, in all hindsight though, let's look at this in a bigger perspective, a bigger scale. You've got New Zealand, got Western countries. We complain about retirement funds. A lot of countries don't have them.
I know.
How are they going to benefit and things like that as well? So in the big scheme of things,
really is that there will be humanitarian aid, and that we will be able to step up and help fulfill in that. So
100%. As I said, does the basic income come into play, the universal income, not basic income, sorry, the universal income come into play? How does that be funded? That's funded, as I said, from that Commonwealth Fund.
Right.
We talked a bit about it the other day, where how are these funds funded? These are everything that was stolen from us as citizens, and then that's how they come about, returning those funds to you. I think it's going to be slightly different to how many people thought it was going to be. I'm going to get all my straw man back, and I'm going, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have a birth certificate. What about those people who don't have a birth certificate? Hello. Why should I suffer and you don't?
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because there was an opportunity to actually look into that through, I think it was Fidelity, where I actually got access into the straw man on my birth certificate. And honestly, there was it was peanuts, like relatively speaking, like $58,000 for like a 61-year-old. I'm thinking, oh, that's not very much.
That's not very. And look, my opinion on Fidelity, of course, that platform has now changed as well.
Yes.
But what happens there is that, yes, many years ago, my beautiful uncle over in Thailand, he was worth millions, according to his strawman back in Fidelity back in the day. That was back in 2019, 2020, when you could easily access it back then. I didn't have a birth certificate, so I wasn't registered. So I don't know what happened there. So whatever. But, Fidelity, of course, we have seen that change. Insurances change as well. We're starting to see the medical insurance change. So there is still a lot of changes going on. And as I said, I think it will be slowly implemented. It'll be rolled out progressively as this all unfolds. So yes, it is a tough gig when you're coming up to retirement. You want all of that retirement to come out so that you can benefit. Let it roll out. I mean, it still hurts and it's still pulling on your heartstrings there. But I think moving forward, as I said, a part of Jasara, you will get those taxes and that back as well.
Yeah.
I found fundamentals in Australia to identify. I could leave Australia. I'll tell you this, girlfriend. I left Australia knowing that I did everything I possibly could find in Australia. I found it. And I'm happy that I could walk away from Australia and know that I felt comfortable that I knew exactly what's going on in Australia. And I still do.
Yeah,
and
of course you do.
And it's the same so now I'm in the US, as I said, heading on to the 2nd of January, to all those beautiful supporters, as I said, over and Buy Me a Coffee, who have sent them emails. Look forward to seeing an email from me very soon so that we can all work together, and we're going to do some special things over there as a thank you, and to research all of these things whilst I'm here in the States, so I can give everyone in the States and Canada a little bit more comfort as to what is going on. But yeah,
I have to tell you, I absolutely love you. I look so forward to your videos. I am so sorry that you have gone through absolute living hell to get here. Like, listening to your story one day not too long ago, I literally just sobbed for you, like, my heart just breaks. And, I'm so glad that, bottom line is faith has brought you through all of that. And, and you have such a strong army behind you, both angelic as well as us physical ones, talking to you today and listening and just knowing that, all that energy just resonates through to you, and I know it just is carrying you. So thanks, Mel. Like, honestly, thank you.
My pleasure, sweetheart.
Yeah, we just love you. Know that.
I love you too. Let me tell you, I love each and every one of you. I'm going to say a quick hello to the beautiful Agent 99. She's been sitting in the wings. She dropped out before. I have to say a quick hello to her. And then we'll have to Terry, Awakening, Prairie Child, and everyone else. Please come back. As I said, I will be on most of this week. And the Agent 99, please close us out in less than 5 minutes, honey.
Hello, my sweet Mel. I just wanted to say hi. And I wanted to say, when I heard you in Sedona, I go, that girl is on holiday. And Sedona rocks. And I just want to give you a shout out for that. And then basically, Mine's all positive. I just want to say I am on fire for what's going on right now with the silver and all that. Every patriot around Telegram and everywhere else are going bananas, totally bananas. And it's fun to sit back and watch. And of course, we know who owns the bank. And so we're real excited. Love you, Mel. Take care. Can't wait to hear from you. Te quiero mucho, honey.
Oh, it's more Mexican over here than I realized, let me tell you.
Oh, I know. I was being silly on purpose. I wanted to get a laugh out of you, okay? Okay,
well,
girl.
Listen, thank you very, very much, ladies, and love you too. Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, that was one of the long videos I wanted to get out, so I'm glad we got that out. That was yesterday. There's Sunday, so I'll keep an eye out. She said she's going to be on all week, so with more information. So we'll get the Trump thing set up here, and then we'll go get the 2 videos out.
And I question.
I lost $50,000 because I didn't buy a domain name. My advice, head to Wix.
Involve things like having the hostages get released. But the first phase wasn't, Israel returning, releasing Palestinian prisoners. But the first phase didn't have to do with like rebuilding Gaza and establishing security in Gaza and disarming Hamas. And there's a whole new level of difficulty with that. So there's questions about how that's going to progress and whether it might get stalled out. So you can see here, AP says President Trump is scheduled to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Oh, by the way, I think this is their 5th meeting this year, I believe. President Trump is scheduled to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu as Washington looks to create fresh momentum for a U.S. brokered ceasefire in Gaza that could be in danger of stalling before a complicated second phase.
Members, these people are going to be met with justice in a matter of time. And this statement was made.
Okay. I got to start over here. Hold on.
Regarding the weaponization of government after January 6th, including, people like Nancy Pelosi, Jack Smith, Liz Cheney, all of these people that used the January 6th narrative to target Trump, his supporters, his cabinet members. These people are going to be met with justice in a matter of time. And this statement was made in response to the people that have been criticizing Pam Bondi for not arresting people fast enough, and the conservative influencers that over the past few days have been raising the issue over the statute of limitations on January 6th, saying that according to U.S. code, after the 5-year period lapses, effectively, the deep state actors have gotten away with it. I don't know if you guys have been noticing this, but it's something that's been circulating a lot over the past few days. Here's one post from Gunther Eagleman, who said, "Dear Pam Bondi, please do not let the statute of limitations run out on the January 6th committee criminals. There are only 12 more days. They all need to be held accountable for the treason they committed. Regards, 78 million Americans that voted for President Trump." And this post has a ton of engagement, over 1.1 million views, and it's one of many. A lot of people have been saying that the clock is about to run out. And even I was about to make a video about this titled something like Pam Bondi has 12 more days before her legacy ends or something, like that. But I'm glad that I didn't, because this is simply not true. Harmeet Dillon, the Assistant Attorney General that heads the Civil Rights Division, says otherwise. So let's get into this without further ado.
Chico.
She says, "My goodness, are you people really going to make me put down my knitting and explain statutes of limitation to you? FFS, which means for fuck's sake. Okay, stuff happens January 6, 2021. This date is irrelevant to prosecuting conspiracy or other wrongdoing, re-weaponization, general 5-year statute." So did you guys catch that? She mentioned the word conspiracy and already killed this notion that there's a 5-year statute of limitations on the date January 6, 2026. Because if you know how conspiracy works, let's say the first act was on January 6, 2021, and the last act was in 2024. Well, you can prosecute that person that committed the first act all the way until 5 years after the last act of the conspiracy, which would be like 2029. So she already killed the narrative that conservative influencers have been peddling, but it goes deeper than that. So let's continue reading. The Jan 6 committee in Congress forms in the summer. This is a relevant date. Statute of limitations is mid-2026 potentially. Jack Smith appointed over a year later as special counsel in November. Statute runs on his obvious shenanigans late 2027. Democrats in Congress and those in the states colluding with Biden White House hide their behavior, some of which still hasn't come to light. Whoa, that's pretty big. Statute runs on this 5 years after their concealed behavior is known to the government. This means the statute could run in the next administration. Stop posting clickbait bullshit. You are being used. A relevant but not the only statute of limitation is 18 U.S. Code 3282, catch-all statute of 5 years. Conservative influencers, if you think you are keeping the pressure on or winning by spreading bullshit attacks on Trump's hand-picked cabinet, you are not. You are earning money to spread misinformation. You are hoes. Learn an honest profession. So you heard it straight from the horse's mouth, ladies and gentlemen. The conservative influencers that are peddling this narrative that the statute of limitations is about to run out on January 6th, and therefore the Department of Justice is not going to hold anybody accountable, they're a bunch of hoes, according to Harmeet Dillon. She put down her knitting and turned into that Cash Me Outside girl from Dr. Phil for a moment there. But that was from her personal account. Now, this is a second statement that she made on her official AAG Harmeet Dillon account, where she says Trump Bondi DOJ is working to bring to justice those who weaponized January 6, 2021. No statute of limitations will hinder DOJ's efforts to bring justice to those who weaponize persecution of American citizens. January 6, 2026 is not a deadline for DOJ to bring prosecutions. So not only did she kill the statute of limitations narrative, she basically told us that the DOJ is actively working on bringing to justice those who weaponized January 6, 2021. So that's very reassuring to me that there's things going on in the background that we're not privy to, but will become relevant very soon. And I think, a lot of people are just getting frustrated with the lack of action, but the wheels of justice are slow. And when you want to bring a big case, especially if you're going to go for the conspiracy or RICO charges, you've got to really make sure you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's. But I think it's completely warranted to bring conspiracy charges or RICO charges on the Jan 6 committee, Nancy Pelosi, and Jack Smith. And even though the bar is very high in terms of getting an actual conviction, I think it's very possible. When you consider the fact that, Nancy Pelosi denied the National Guard, despite the fact that the Capitol Police Chief, Stephen Sund, requested the National Guard in advance for heightened security. This would be dereliction of duty, so that could be like the first act. You had Representative Barry Loudermilk, his committee on the House Administration on Oversight showed that the January 6th committee deleted over 100 encrypted files before the Republicans took over the House. So that's destruction of evidence. You had Liz Cheney that tampered with the witness Cassidy Hutchinson, getting her to change her testimony and encouraging her to change lawyers. You had overwhelming evidence that the FBI infiltrated groups and that there was instigators and Antifa thugs that instigated the breach of the Capitol, which they basically ignored and tried to memory hole, there's tons and tons of evidence to prove that this entire thing was a gigantic coordinated conspiracy. And I'm not just talking about far-reaching, conspiracy right-wing narratives that don't hold water in a court of law. I'm talking about the stuff that is conclusive, concrete proof that there was evidence tampering, there was destruction of evidence, there was dereliction of duty. All of these things are easily provable, and you can weave them all together into one big, gigantic conspiracy. And all of this, the January 6th hoax, predicated the weaponization of government against a sitting president. They tried to overthrow the president and then imprison him after the fact, after he left office, and then remove him from the ballot from being reelected in 2024. Not to mention the weaponization against American citizens, the hundreds of people that sat in DC gulags without trial and were suffering in horrific conditions for going into the Capitol after they were essentially led in there by the DC police and the FBI. And using the J6 hoax narrative, Merrick Garland over at the DOJ and Christopher Wray at the FBI reclassified and changed the definition of domestic terrorist to include right-wing extremists, basically Trump supporters, and they began spying on and imprisoning and confiscating people's cell phones and politically persecuting and targeting American citizens under the guise that they are domestic terrorists, all because of the J6 hoax. And yours truly was taken off of the internet for a period of 4 years. They banned my channel. They took me off the internet. I lost my Twitter. I couldn't even have a Gmail account for like years unless I used an alias, because when I was making videos about the 2020 election and challenging the mainstream narrative, they said that questioning the 2020 election could lead to another January 6th insurrection, and therefore you're not allowed to talk about that. And so we are removing you from the public town square, and you're not allowed to speak anymore. This was after I had completely devoted myself to making YouTube videos about the 2020 election, and we were making money on YouTube, and it became part of our household income. My wife was 9 months pregnant with our first child, and I wake up one day and it's gone. And everything that happened after that was very difficult. So I have a personal vendetta against these people that perpetuated this hoax. But you don't see me out here peddling this narrative and condemning the Trump administration for not arresting people fast enough, because I understand that these things take time. And to kind of wrap this up and conclude, I want to read this post from Clandestine, who lays it out pretty cleanly. And I can't agree more with this post. So he says, if you are one of those people constantly calling for Bondi to be fired, you are implying that you know better than Trump. Do you really think you have a better understanding of the situation? You think Trump made it all this way by taking advice from social media influencers? Trump has the situation under control. And if he didn't have the situation under control, no amount of your bitching on the internet is going to change it. Trump is in charge for the next 3 years. He knows better than you do, and we hired him to get the job done. Anyone bitching for Bondi to be fired, you're not helping us. You're just making a fool of yourself. And while I wouldn't go that far, I do agree with the overall sentiment that Trump knows what he's doing, and that's why we voted for him. I mean, if he doesn't know what he's doing, and he didn't learn his lesson from the last administration and the last 10 years and appointed somebody to be a feckless, do nothing in the DOJ, like the most important and crucial role in his cabinet, then we are absolutely screwed, because after everything that's happened, he's still oblivious. I mean, come on, guys. We have to put a little bit more trust and a little bit more faith that things are happening. They're just maybe not happening in the timeline that we want them to. But at the same time, Clandestine, I don't agree with like the browbeating and lecturing people and condemning people for criticizing the president and putting pressure on the DOJ to take action, because that's our job as citizens. I don't care who's the president, whether it's Trump or Joe Blow or somebody else. It is our job and our duty to hold our government accountable and make sure that they're acting on the will of the people and not protecting, criminals. So I don't agree with calling people hoes or calling people fools for demanding accountability on the people that destroyed their lives for the past 4 years. But at the same time, the thing I do agree with is that these criticisms people are making a lot of times are not valid. For instance, the statute of limitations on January 6th. Clearly, this whole notion that the deadline is in 12 days is false. So we're not making a valid criticism of the administration, and that's why I wanted to make this video and reassure people that there are things going on in the background, and accountability is coming, just not in the timeline that we want it to. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you guys think.
So that was an important one today. So he's not speaking yet. I'll finish the second one. And if he's not on yet, then I guess we'll wait till 5 o'clock. We'll get the second one in.
Hesitating to make this video because if I don't frame this the right way, there could be consequences. But you guys know me, I don't hold back. And that's why we lost our channel for 4 years talking about the truth. And we just got it back miraculously because I just don't hold back. If I feel like something's important, I'm going to cover it. And, you know, I'm not going to censor myself. So this is radioactive, but we're going to get into it. I'm going to put the facts out there and you can draw your own conclusions. Now, with everybody's eyes on Minnesota right now and this multi-billion-dollar fraud scandal that continues to reveal itself every single day more and more, people are bringing something up that really didn't garner enough attention when it happened. And it may be relevant to everything that's going on. So I first learned about this from Benny Johnson, and he really has me thinking and scratching my head. So Benny Johnson said, now that we're all aware that medical fraud is a multi-billion-dollar industry in Minnesota, can we get some answers about Representative Melissa Hortman's murder? Melissa Hortman is the only Democrat to vote against health care for illegals. She killed the bill, and then Hortman and her husband were murdered soon after this vote. The Republicans wanted to repeal the illegal aliens from getting Minnesota care, and the Democrats were totally against it. They were trying to pass their budget bill, and you know, there was a threat of a government shutdown, and she was the lone Democrat that crossed party lines and voted with the Republicans to pass that appropriations bill. And it's all too familiar. We just went through this on the federal level with Chuck Schumer's shutdown just months ago, but there was a compromise that was made. She was the sole Democrat that voted with the Republicans, and then 5 days later, she gets assassinated. Now, that in and of itself is a strange coincidence, but it actually gets a lot deeper than that. So as it turned out, the murderer was actually appointed by Governor Tim Walz, the man that everybody's looking at for being responsible for the massive multi-billion-dollar Somalian fraud scheme. This guy was appointed by Tim Walz, but it actually gets worse because after he murdered Melissa Hortman, they found inside of his abandoned vehicle that he left behind and ran away on foot, a handwritten letter, which in it, he confessed that he was responsible for killing her and said that Tim Walz was the one that put him up to it. Now, Benny Johnson included this video of Melissa Hortman talking to the press after her vote, and you can see that she is very troubled. She has tears in her eyes, and she seems very disturbed. Now, she says it's because, you know, it weighs heavy on her heart to remove access to health care from illegal aliens, but maybe there's something more going on here. I don't know. But I want to play this video for you guys first, and then we'll get deeper into this.
I know that people will be hurt by that vote, and we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal that wouldn't include that provision.
Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman emotional following the House's adjournment from a special session Monday. Hortman was the lone DFL lawmaker to cast a vote to cut Minnesota Care access for undocumented immigrants. It's a move she made with a heavy heart.
I did what leaders do. I stepped up and I got the job done for the people of Minnesota.
The bill was deeply unpopular with members of the DFL caucus.
Yeah, it was so caucus that 5 days later, she was brutally assassinated. And let's think for a moment about the impact of her vote. By removing the access for illegals to care, you're effectively reducing the number of opportunities for fraud. So the fraudsters were probably pretty pissed off at her for passing that vote. And so now let's talk about the killer. And again, I don't want to speculate too much here because that's, again, radioactive. But let's just talk about the killer. I have his handwritten note, the transcript of the note that he left in his abandoned vehicle, and we're going to read that. And I also want to play this quick clip from CBS News where they acknowledge the fact that the killer said that Tim Walz put him up to it.
A grand jury has now indicted an accused assassin in what prosecutors call an act of political extremism. Vance Belter faces a half dozen federal charges, including the murders of the former House Speaker and her husband. KCCO's Uba Ali joins us live with new details about the accused killer's confession and how bravery may have prevented an even larger tragedy, Uba.
Aaron, the sprawling handwritten letter was addressed to the FBI director and includes that confession writing, quote, "I am the shooter at large." It also includes what acting U.S. attorney calls several delusional claims. Among those, Belter says Governor Tim Walz ordered him to kill Minnesota senators. He claims it was part of a conspiracy to get the governor elected to the U.S. He wasn't sure or wrote this to try and excuse his crimes. Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were killed in their home in the early hours of June 14th. Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette were shot more than a dozen times between the two of them. And we learned today their daughter, Hope Hoffman, was incredibly close to becoming a fifth victim.
Both John and Yvette acted with incredible bravery to put themselves between Belter's bullets and their daughter. Miraculously, Hope Hoffman was not shot, but she was the fifth intended victim of Vance Belter that night.
So the killer, he killed two Democrats and he attempted to kill two more. So they said that he was a right-wing extremist, but it's worth noting that in his abandoned vehicle, they found no King's flyers. So I don't know if I buy that claim that he was a right-wing extremist, but here is the actual transcription of the handwritten note that he wrote to FBI Director Kash Patel. And so I'm going to read this for you guys. And there are some things in here that just don't make any sense, but I'm here to just lay out the facts and, again, allow you guys to make your own conclusions. So here's the letter. Dear Kash Patel, my name is Dr. Vance Luther Belter. I am the shooter at large in Minnesota involved in the two shootings the morning of Saturday, June 15th at approximately 2:30 a.m. and 3:30 a.m. or around that time. I will probably be dead by the time you read this letter. I wanted to share some info with you that you might find interesting. I was trained by U.S. military people off the books starting in college. I have been on projects since that time in Eastern Europe, North America, the Middle East, and Africa, all in the line of doing what I thought was right and in the best interest of the United States. Recently, I was approached about a project that Tim Walz wanted done, and Redacted and Keith, I'm guessing that's Ellison, was also aware of the project. Tim wanted me to kill Amy Klobuchar and Tina Redacted. Tim wants to be a senator, and he doesn't trust Redacted to retire as planned and thinks she is going to stay on at the last minute. With Amy plus Redacted gone, Tim would get one of the Gen Senate seats, and Redacted wants to be governor. And Keith Ellison would be rewarded with a lieutenant governor's position. I told Tim I wanted nothing to do with it, and if he didn't call off that plan, I would go public. He said he would call it hurt my family if I did play ball. Then he set up a meeting with me and Mel, Redacted, and Redacted to talk about options when they had some people waiting to kill me. I was able to get away by God's mercy. So I went back a short time later and shot at both Redacted and Redacted. You should notice how I didn't fire one round at any police officers, and boy, did I have plenty of opportunity. As for the report on how many weapons and ammunition I had with me, cops were pulling up right next to me in their vehicles, and I had an AK pistol aimed right at her head, and I could have left a pile of cops dead, but I did not shoot one bullet towards law enforcement. You can ask them, because I support the police and don't want to see them hurt. But if they are hurting my wife plus or kids next time, I won't give them a pass. If you think I'm making this up, just get on the phone and tell Tim you have a few questions for him. Then ask Tim Walz if he knows me and see what he says. If he says he doesn't know me or never met me, look in the files and you will see that Tim Walz personally appointed me as to be on his governor's workforce board. As one of the business representatives, he is probably trying to destroy that info, but it is public record. Then ask Tim Walz why they kept the shots silent from the media when they first happened. Not a word in the press about it. Why? They needed to get their stories figured out first, so everyone was on the same page about what happened. Tim is probably crapping bricks right now because I'm still at large, and he knows what I can do, and that I know about where all the buried skeletons are. So I will be shot on sight. You can bet on that. If you want me to turn myself in, it needs to be directly to you, Kash Patel, and then I need to be held at a military prison or in Asia or the Middle East, or at least on a military ship over there. These guys have their guns everywhere and can get to anybody. I am willing to spill all the beans. I just want my family safe. They had nothing to do with this and are totally innocent. This was a one-person job. And here are the actual photos of the handwritten note that was found in his abandoned vehicle. Now, the most updated information I could get is that as of right now, there is no trial set yet for accused assassin charged in Minnesota lawmaker shootings as defense reviews large amount of evidence. They say that there's 130,000 pages of documents, 800 hours of video and audio recordings, and 2,000 photos from prosecutors, which has taken 110 hours just to download and is still in process. So this guy is sitting in prison, I assume, and he's awaiting a trial date. But what's interesting to me is the fact that Tim Walz did appoint this guy. It's right here. It says Belter was first appointed to the Minnesota's Governor's Workforce Development Board in 2016 by the previous governor, Mark Dayton, and then reappointed in 2019 by Governor Walz. He reappointed Belter to the same board for a 4-year term that expired in January 2023. Okay, now Tim Walz denied that he ever met the guy, and all of the media outlets are basically trying to disassociate Tim Walz from the killer. Like right here, PBS fact-checking unsubstantiated claims linking Governor Walz to Belter. Demystifying Vance Belter's unremarkable tenure on state board. And essentially, they're just trying to say that, you know, while this killer alleged that he had close ties to Tim Walz, the reality is there was not a close association whatsoever. So it's all just very interesting and raises a lot of questions which we, the public, will probably never get answers to, as with any other political assassination in American history. But with everything going on in Minnesota right now, it's no wonder why this is resurfacing and people are taking a second look at it and saying, maybe there's something there. I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much again, ladies and gentlemen, but I thought I'd bring this to your attention. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section. As always, leave a like on the video.
Okay, that will wrap it up for the first show. People that came in late. Melody from Australia had an 1.5-hour video. We just completed that. Then we did 2 important Nick videos. I'm gonna swing over and see if Trump's speaking or not. But I'll be back again at 5.
Missile issue.
Okay,
Ooh,
Angie.
I might have something about a new report on that right now.
Yeah, I don't know how long this is. Yeah, it's still going to be a while.
There's an article in the Washington Post today with the headline.
So I'm going to get a few hours nap time in and come back at 5. Okay, things coming in. Everybody, and we'll see you in a couple hours here at 5. Have a good few hours. I miss y'all. See you soon.